Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and this is a call out to Mr. Jung, Carl Jung. He he's the foundation of MBTI. Before Isabel Myers and Catherine Briggs, well, Isabel's mother, made the MBTI indicator. So I've had some recommendations of some people online and from my INFJ best friend to check out Jung's cognitive function descriptions. I've looked at them like 10 years ago and haven't checked them since. I remember that I was looking at them when I was looking at NI versus SI. If you checked that video about me mistyping as an INFJ or ISFJ for a while, then you'll know that I was confused with SI and NI. So I looked at those descriptions, but I did not look really at the FI description. And I think I looked at all the descriptions, but I did not focus much on it. And now I read it, and I'm mad. I'm mad because you can see that Carl Jung does not know what introverted feeling actually feels like. He was an INFJ, so I don't blame him, but still, if he's going to generalize about people, he could have gotten some perspective from an introverted feeling person. And it seems he just went with what his guesses were. So if Isabel Myers who's an INFP, had written this description, it would have probably fit much better. Unfortunately, I think that Isabel Myers was more interested in making the theory more practical, which kind of makes sense. A lot of INFPs create theories and then have other types implement it for them. And INFPs do have a more down-to-earth skill set with their inferior TE and tertiary SI. So it actually, the story of MBTI actually reflects the types of its creators. And her mother, Mrs. Briggs, was actually an INFJ. So this is an INFJ and INFP endeavor to create MBTI. But Carl Jung, I don't know, he did not understand introverted feeling. I'm not going to read all of this because this is super long. And he does repeat himself quite a bit. But so something that he says at the beginning is that it is principally among women that I found the predominance of introverted feeling. So yeah, I mean, this was written a long time ago, so I guess it was important at that point. Thing is, the whole description is based on women. So I have a feeling that maybe INFP males would not really, well, maybe they'd be a little bit different from this description, since he's basing this only on women. Then he says, still waters run deep is very true of such women. And I agree, we are still waters that run deep. So maybe that's true. They're mostly silent, inaccessible, hard to understand. Often they hide behind a childish or banal mask, and their temperament is inclined to melancholy. And yes, we are melancholic. And we have a certain mask, but I don't know if it's banal. Maybe it seems childish and banal. I don't know. But okay, if we are quiet, so silent, but inaccessible, hard to understand, sure. But come on, Carl Jung, you're an INFJ. Then don't you have, like, is it so hard for you to understand other people? I don't know. They neither shine nor reveal themselves. Okay, I'll take that. As they are mainly guided by their subjective feelings, their true motives generally remain hidden. Okay. Their outward demeanor is harmonious, inconspicuous, giving an impression of pleasing repose or of sympathetic response, with no desire to affect others, to impress, influence, or change them in any way. This is quite true. If this outward aspect is more pronounced, it arouses suspicion of indifference and coldness, which may actually turn into a disregard for the comfort and well-being of others. That's where I feel like Carl Jung's FE madness at FI comes out, because it's talking about really how we seem like cold and emotionless, which I don't know if that's true, but yeah, it makes us seem very selfish. One is distinctly aware then of the movement of feeling away from the object. With the normal type, however, this happens only when the influence of the object is too strong. So basically, if you're too emotional, then the emotion will come out. And I guess not in a healthy way. The feeling of harmony, therefore, lasts only so long as the object goes in its moderate way and makes no attempt to cross the other's path. So basically, don't cross an INFP. I don't know, it makes us seem really prickly. There is little effort to respond to the real emotions of the other person. They are often damped down and rebuffed or cooled off by negative value judgment. So basically, INFPs are judgmental and don't care about other people. Although there is a constant readiness for peaceful and harmonious coexistence, strangers are shown no touch of amiability, no gleam of responsive warmth, and are met with apparent indifference or appalling coldness. So yeah, I mean, sure, I guess that I don't really love talking to strangers, but it's not because I'm mad at them, it's or that I don't trust them. It's that well, it's a little bit awkward, that's all. So he really has some thoughts about FI users. Let's see. Often they're made to feel entirely superfluous, the strangers, that's what it means. Facing with anything that might carry her away or arouse enthusiasm, this type observes a benevolent, though critical, neutrality, coupled with a faint trace of superiority that soon takes the wind out of the sails of a sensitive person. Any stormy emotion, however, will be struck down with murderous coldness, unless it happens to catch the woman on her unconscious side. That is, unless it hits her feelings by arousing a primordial image. In that case, she simply feels paralyzed for a moment, and this in due course invariably produces an even more obstinate resistance, which will hit the other person in his most vulnerable spot. Okay. So I don't really understand this. Also, it seems like he's saying he for like the general person and she as the introverted feeling person, which, well, isn't always the case. Also, it seems like it makes us seem really cold. That the stormy emotion will be struck down with murderous coldness. I think that we like feelings as introverted feeling types. And I don't think that we are paralyzed by emotion. We do have to take time to feel it and stuff, but we're not unfeeling, and we are sensitive and gentle. So I don't really understand this whole part. Let's see what comes next. As far as possible, the feeling relationship is kept a safe middle path, all intemperate passions being resolutely tabooed. Which, I mean, I don't really find us to be really stable when it comes to emotions. So I think that we try to keep ourselves calm and balanced. But I don't really, it's not really the FE that I want to keep external harmony in the same way. Expressions of feeling therefore remain niggardly, and the other person has a permanent sense of being undervalued once he becomes unconscious of it. But this need not always be so, because very often he remains unconscious of the lack of feeling shown to him, in which case the unconscious demands of feeling will produce symptoms designed to compel attention. Okay. I don't know. I'm getting bored of this. That was just the first paragraph. There are 3 more paragraphs. But he basically says the same things over and over. He does say in the second paragraph that that even though they appear cold, that these women have intensive feelings rather than extensive feelings, which is true. But there's all of this stuff about hiding stuff. Then it says, women often express a good deal of feelings through their children. They're showing their passion flow secretly into them. So yeah, he talks a little bit about how FI types might be misunderstood. He talks a lot about the extroverted man being attracted to the introverted feeling woman, because the woman makes him feel unconscious images, which, yeah, makes him interested. But he says here, this produces a type of woman notorious for her unscrupulous ambition and mischievous cruelty. It is a change, however, that leads to neurosis. So basically, if a woman starts like trying to get more power, she will have neurosis, basically. So I don't know. It seems like he wants the FI user to remain mild and banal, as he says, and not really express her emotions, because that is actually scary to the man, I guess. Let's see. He talks about types being normal, which I guess is what he means by healthy. He probably has some kind of terminology that I don't really understand. There are things that I don't really understand all of the vocabulary. But he says, he says that they will, FI types will feel what other people think, and they'll be affected by how everybody thinks negative things, mean things, scheming evil, contriving plots, secret intrigues. In order to forestall them, she herself is obligated to start counter-intrigues, to suspect others and sound them out, and weave counterplots. Beset by rumors, she must make frantic efforts to get her own back and be top dog. Blah, blah, blah. Such state of affairs must end in exhaustion. The form of neurosis is neurasthenic rather than hysterical, often with severe physical complications such as anemia and a sequelae. And needless to say, I mean, also I'm a doctor, so I don't know if INFPs are more likely to be anemic than others. I don't know. Maybe we are. I don't know if health conditions are more likely to come with a certain type. But like I just feel that I understand that Myers and Briggs had to start with something, and they saw these types, and that was what, and it seemed interesting to sort people according to these types. But I'm glad that that they are much nicer in their descriptions of the types than Carl Jung is. It's like really, I don't know. I understand Carl Jung is influenced by Freud and stuff, but I don't know. I'm glad that we've come like near a more a theory that makes more sense. With Kiersey writing his "Please Understand Me" and all that stuff, and Kiersey being INTP. I think NI writing is very, very dense and difficult to understand. So they need to have other types that don't have NI in order to write things that actually make sense to the vast majority of people, like me. I mean, anybody who's not an INFJ or an INTJ will struggle a little bit reading this chunk of text. And this is definitely not written from a FI perspective. It is definitely written by a man who does not understand that emotions can express themselves in different ways. And I don't know, it doesn't make me feel great to think that MBTI is based on the thoughts of such a man. I mean, it might be my FI judgment of people coming into play here, but my opinion of Carl Jung is not really great by now when I'm reading the FI description. So tell me what you guys think. Maybe you understand the description better than I do. Maybe you also hate Carl Jung and, well, hate is a strong word. I'm just saying maybe you guys have some objections to the way he describes stuff. And so if so, like, tell me, because misery likes company. Yeah, have a great day, everybody. Bye.